Greetings. Greetings, peoples. All right. It's like these lights make me look like I'm going bald, I guess. Which I'm not. Is anybody coming in? I'm going to wait until I see at least the first person, and then I'll know that we're... Okay, there it is. There you are. Till I know that we're really on the air. Last night we had some serious problems. I told you about that. And they had to do with a new device that we have that I haven't tested out yet. Here. The lights just make you look old. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Wow. Take care of a brother. Why don't you there, Brit? But this new device is actually a pad that I can write on. And it'll put a screen right there, you know, about like here. And I can write on it and you guys can see it. Although I need to test it out right here because if I have it, well, I don't need to go into it, but if I have the laptop here that I'm looking at, then I have to write over here. I suppose I could. Man, I'm not going to do it tonight. I want to test it out and be able to, you know, work the bugs out of it. All right, we got 3 people in here. We got Lenny, Inga, and Brittany. Britney Spears. Britney Pierce. It's almost like Britney Spears, isn't it? And Lenny from Racine, Wisconsin. I said older, not calling you old at all. Okay. All right. I guess I'm a little... No, I'm not sensitive about anything. You know, just don't make fun of my ears. No, I'm not sensitive about anything. I don't care. All right, so I got a couple of things that I'm actually pretty excited today. Inga's saying I'm trying to throw him off. He looks super old. Oh, thank you. You look super old tonight. Thank you. Throws me off. I'm actually pretty excited because today was the day that Joe comes over and we do video work. And I have a charcuterie class coming up this weekend. So it's always exciting for me because I'm going to have 12 people coming to my house and we get to cut up pigs and hang around and have fun. And so I'm always kind of excited when you get to, you know, Tuesday. Okay, tomorrow I've got a lot of work that I need to have done before folks show up here. And I've told you guys that I'm building out a new hanging room right now. And, you know, as you're working on something, you start thinking about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And when Joe came today, he says, okay, what do you want to film today? And I said, well, the thing that's right in the front of my mind right now is this mosquito. Got you. And so we did a video on charcuterie, how to hang your charcuterie, how to create it, what the hanging room is about, what it's for, and how we are going to operate it. And so it was a pretty fun video that we made, I thought. And this morning while I was doing some research for it, I started looking up, and do this, go online and look up Mangalitsa prosciutto. And if you don't know how to spell prosciutto, it's P-R-O-S-C, and then it should take you there from there. But just go through and look at the prices on Mangalitsa prosciutto if you can find it. So I started looking at it this morning, and one of the ones that comes up all the time is La Quercia, and I think it's Minnesota. I'm not exactly sure, but it comes up, and they sell whole prosciutto. I don't think they have Mangalitsa. I contacted them years ago to see if they were interested in doing a line of Mangalitsa, and I would supply the pigs. They never contacted me back, but so I've just known about them for a long time, and they're definitely a charcuterie maker in the United States. There is another one in Virginia, and I actually did sell pigs to him. His name is Olivero Colmignoli, and I sold him pigs about 10. This has got to be about 15 years ago or 12 years ago, I'd say. Yeah, probably about 10 years ago was when we first got into him, and he contacted me and he said, "Oh, I'd like to buy some pigs." And I didn't know enough to do things correctly, but I drove the van down there, and I had all these pigs that I just picked up from a USDA processor down in Grand Rapids, and I allowed him to pick through and take the pieces he wanted. And I never should have done that. I should have said, "No, you got to take them all. I'm not going to drive these things back home, and I got no place to put them and stuff." But that was in the early days. And he never actually bought anything from me after that. He wanted to just buy certain cuts, and I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." So anyway, La Quercia comes up, and they've got a prosciutto ham. I was declarative, by the way. I was just telling these guys about some research that I was doing this morning on Mangalitsa charcuterie products, because we're having this class this weekend. And so I'm doing some preparation for it. And also we did some video work about it today too. So in my preparation for that, I found that a prosciutto from La Quercia, which I believe is just factory pigs, is $750 for a 10-pounder. So what does that come out to? $75 a pound? Is that correct? If you divide 10 into 70, yeah, $75 a pound, right? $750, yeah. So when you think about that, and you're able to line it up, I don't know, it takes me a while to really get stuff lined up in my head. I watched years ago, it was Staying in a Hotel. Laney Racine, Northern Illinois. Is that where they are? I got 11 for sale in there. Okay. Curious what size your prosciutto usually start at weight-wise. Usually, I think 12 or 14. And then they shrink down to about 10. I think. That's just off the cuff. Hey, Nancy's with us. Right on. So anyway, I'm doing this research for, the weekend that's coming up, and I start to line up what it is that we are actually showing these people. What is it that we're actually showing these people? And I kind of liken it to something that I watched on TV at a hotel when I stayed a couple of years ago. And it was this reality show, and these guys had pooled their money, and then they'd gone to Alaska staked the claim, brought a whole bunch of heavy equipment up there, and they're digging gravel out of the side of this mountain. And the guy's saying, yep, there is gold in that gravel. And sure enough, they'd take a handful of gravel, lay it out on a table, flush it with water, and sure enough, the guy would pick out a little fleck of gold. And it was gold, all right. There's no doubt about it. And as I watched that, thank you very much. My wife has just brought me a cup of tea, sleepy time tea, by the way, in a Baker's Green Acres mug. A lot of that's coming too. A lot of merchandise is coming. But I remember seeing that and saying, well, out of every yard of gravel and rocks and dirt and all that stuff, if you were able to pick out, 10 flecks of gold, you would have 10 flecks of gold that would be a very small amount, extremely small amount. And so you need people to go and do that. You need equipment. You need a process. And, you're not going to find a big chunk there. You're not. That's not how it works. And I thought, well, if I were to go up there and scoop out some of that guy's gravel and take it, and then I got it home and I got 2 flecks out of it, it'd be kind of like, I didn't do too well on that, But if I was able to take, an endless supply of yards coming to me and an automatic machine that washed it out and collected up the, and the flecks just kept building up and building up, then I suppose it would work out pretty good. But how do you do that? How do you get the personnel to go up to Alaska? How do you keep all that machinery running? How do you keep fuel on that machinery? Very hard to do. It's very hard to do. So the raw product that you have there, that gravel, it's got wealth in it, but you got to coax it out. So what we're doing here with these guys is we have the mama sows, and out of them we may get 10 babies, and then those 10 babies we've got to feed them up for 14 months, and of those 10 babies we'll get 20 rear legs, and then if we process them properly and then we hang them up for 2 years, they may be worth $1,000 a piece. They may be. So you're seeing in the charcuterie end of this business, the Mangalitsa business is really not just farrowing. It's not just feeding. It's not loading those pigs into a trailer and taking them to a USDA plant. It's not just any one of those things. And can be that you take those pigs to the end or close to the end. And the closer you get to the end of that process of a platter about this big with, 4 ounces of prosciutto on there and some cheese and some other gee whiz stuff that's worth $100, you're getting close to the end of that's probably the end. And that's when you're really squeezing the wealth out of this pig. That's when you're doing it. So what does it take to do that? Well, it takes some equipment. It takes some know-how. It takes a hanging room. Hanging room is very important, and we did talk about that a lot in this video that we did, and we also showed the hanging room that I'm building right now. And my buds were helping me today. My slaves, my sons were helping me. The boys were helping me. But we're getting very close to a place where there's a lot of wealth accumulated, and it's really a neat thing. It really is. It's and I think where a lot of people leave the Mangalitsa business, and I hope the clerics don't leave it there. Where a lot of people leave it is, well, I can feed them out. I can farrow them. I can feed them out, but I don't want to do the butchering. Well, I already know the clerics have already cleared that hurdle. I know they have because I watched them do it. And now the next hurdle is build a hanging room, get smart about charcuterie, and then within a couple of years, you've got product. It's not even a couple of years. I don't know why I say that. A big prosciutto ham like this was a pretty good sized prosciutto, which still it's viable. It's still in good enough shape to, I'll be eating it this weekend with this class. That one's kind of hashed. A big prosciutto like that is not necessarily the only thing that we make. You won't see the video I made today until probably next Thursday, but we make a Coca-Cola, we make pancetta, and a lot of these things cure up in a relatively short period of time. And, they bring a tremendous amount of value to the table. A Mangalitsa pig out there on the field, to most people, has very little value because what are they going to do with it? They can't eat it running around, and they don't have the skills to process it. And if they don't have the skills to process it, they probably don't have the skills to make bacon and to make prosciutto and pancetta and the rest of it. But if you do master those skills, you can draw the extreme value out of the Mangalitsa pig. And once you do start drawing that value out of the pig, and I'll tell you, I'll be right up front with you about this. I had a lady contact me, and she said, well, I'm doing a catering, and I'd really like to have a Mangalitsa prosciutto. And I said, okay. And she said, what is that going to run me? And she's a friend, So I just shot her a price. Just, I want her to grow her catering business. I really do. So if she wows a bunch of people with this, I figure it's going to help her, and she's my friend, and I want her to do really well. And so I just shot her a price, and it was $25 a pound, which I know is quite low. I know that. And she said, no problem. So we sent her a prosciutto right away. And in several months, she said, hey, I can pay you for that I can trade you in an alternate currency if you like, because she knows I really like fish. I really like trout out of Lake Michigan, and she lives on Beaver Island, and she's got a neighbor that takes people out on fishing, guided fishing trips. And a lot of these people want to go out and they want to catch these big fish, but they don't want them. And so once it's taken out, it has to be killed, and it goes in their tank. And so then the fish has to be disposed of somehow. So these fishermen take it home, they fillet them out, they vac seal them, and they put them in their freezer, and then they trade people with it. So she brought me 60 pounds of fillets about this big and about that thick. And I thought, man, that's good. That's good. So guess what I had for dinner tonight? I had fish for dinner. And I had a piece like this, a big piece, and I had about a half of another one. It is so good. It is so good. And that's a great way to do it too. I mean, she could have given me dollars, and then I suppose I could have gone and given dollars to that guy, but why do that? You know, it's good to learn how to trade and barter and stuff like that. I got way more than I had coming to me, but you know, the next time she asks me for something, she's gonna get way more than she's got coming to her. So it's sort of like that. Okay, I guess Jill answered Beth's question. I'm assuming that's Beth or Tommy. And the question was, how big are our hams when we hang them? And Jill's saying 15 to 20. And Justin Z is with us. The Zeba. And Haven DeZoo's with us. Right on. Tell us how you cook that trout. Well, very simple. Like, I like the taste of trout. I really do. So when Jill cooks it, she just puts it on a pan. She puts a pat of butter on each one of them. Puts a scoop or two of Mangalitsa fat in there. Yeah. And then puts a tent over it, a tent of tin foil. And then you cook it. I believe she cooks it at 300 until you can just smell it in the house. You just barely smell it. And as soon as you smell it, shut it off. And then take it out, let it sit on the counter for a little bit. And it's perfect every time like that. Perfect. And she did some seasoning too. There's a little bit of garlic on it and some seasoning salt. And it was just perfect. Just perfect. So anyway, that's what I did today. And I got really excited about it because I have all the pieces that I need to hang a lot of prosciutto, right? And a lot of Copa and a lot of Loma, a lot of pancetta. Pancetta is really easy to make. And I have the capability, once this hanging room is done, this one is 4x8, and it's got a lot of space to hang in. And I'm going the extra mile on this one. I'm going to make it so that I can run a heater in if I want to. I can run a humidifier. I can run a dehumidifier, and I can have it all set so they just click on off as necessary, right? And a fan to circulate and get a good vent in there so I can vent out the moisture out of the meat, because a hanging room is actually kind of like a drying room. So get really excited about it. I really did. I mean, I have projects that I want to build, and you get into it and you start building it and you say, this is cool. And, you know, make no mistake that when I have made a prosciutto ham, all right, a lot of you have come to our classes, and we set a price of, I think, $3 or $3.50 a pound on all the products from the pigs that we slaughter during that hog harvest. And it's because we like people to be able to take something with them. We got to get compensated for it. And people have walked out of here with a prosciutto at, $3 or $3.50 a pound, and it's a 20-pounder, and they're not paying that much for it, really, but they take it home, so let's say it's a 20-pounder, and you're paying $4 a pound for it. So it's, let's say, $80 you're walking out with it. And it's prepared. It's all ready. It has to, the salting process has to be complete, which is about another 25 days or so. But after that, it can be hung up. And then in, say a year and a half to 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, it will be done. It will be completed. And that thing, in my opinion, is worth $1,000 right there if it's a 20-pounder. We can look at prices all over the board. I mean, who was it last night? out in California gal, got a really cute, diverse operation, really nice looking. She told us that she saw at a, I'm so sorry. She said, you haven't been here in a while. I'm so sorry. I can't think of your name. It'll come to me. Either that or you'll chime in. She said she saw prosciutto at a specialty deli for $167 a pound. Can you believe that? $167 a pound. So it gets kind of exciting when you see those numbers, because if I can turn, every rear shank off of, or back leg off of the pigs that I process into prosciutto, and turn them all for better part of $1,000, I'm liking that. That can help me expand this operation in a hurry, and that's exciting. It's really exciting when you come across something in the farm world that you can do and you make a gain on it. It's exciting. It just is. I mean, a lot of things that we do around here, they're great fun and all that stuff, but they don't make a whole lot of money. But we do them anyway. Yeah, we do them anyway. But when you come across something that makes really good money, it's exciting. It's exciting. Okay, Aaron. It's Aaron. Out in California. All right, I got Andy chiming in here. How you doing, brother? I cut about 600 foot of road for my next fence line today. 600 foot. Okay. That's cool. 2,000 plus bacon and sausages. Wait a minute. What's that? Come and hit that. Oh, yeah. Please hit the thumbs up if you guys would, please. I had a really nice conversation with Joe today, and he is a guy that understands whatever it is that he decides that he's going to do. Before he really gets into it, he has a good understanding of it. So the point of the videos is to bring homesteading into the homes of more people. And so Joe was saying to me, we got to be ready for the summer, because this thing's going to bust wide open, because he's looking at the trajectory of the videos and the quality of the content that we're bringing. Our content is not, it's not entertainment. It is edutainment. So anything that we bring to you in video form, it is meant to, be entertaining. It's fun to watch, but you get something from it. You learn from it. That's the whole idea. Oh, I see what you're saying, Andy. 2,000 plus bacon and sausages. 2 prosciuttos per pig. Oh, yeah. What are you, homeschooled? I always do that to the kids. I tell them, okay, like when we're castrating pigs, I'll say, okay, now a little homeschool while we're doing this. We're castrating pigs. So how do we know how many pigs we castrated at the end of the day? All right. I don't know. Count them? No. You count the testicles and then divide by 2. That's how you know. Yeah. Thanks. I agree with you. Joe is doing a fantastic job. And I got some really good news from him today. I am super, super excited. I mean, I cannot tell you how excited I am. This project right here, the Classroom Fund, it is more than a classroom. It is a classroom, but on one end of it, it is a kitchen. Because when we do our classes, we have people here for a full day, and people have to eat. And part of what the class is we weave into it a preparation technique. On the first night, Jill's preparing organ meats, right? And that is our first meal on Friday night. Now it's going to be my daughter-in-law, Faye, is going to be stepping up and taking that from Jill, which I'm very excited about that, because we get to spread this out a little bit. So when Jill and I do a class, at the end of the weekend, we're not totally wiped out because we still have to run the farm. There's still a lot to do. And when we got Joe coming in, going to help, Faye coming in, going to help, I get really excited about that. But anyway, we got to talking today about where we're investing our time and our money, where we're going to invest that. And Joe was like, hey, I know, it's your equity and it's your thing. He says, but as far as I can see, the classes are doing well. And if we expanded our ability to do more classes and meet the needs of the public, that would be smart. And so I think there needs to be a priority put on the classroom and the kitchen. The classroom, it's going to be more than a classroom. It's actually going to be like a dining room. It could be used as a classroom, and it will get used as a classroom. We might even use it for homeschool. I have told you guys I want to build a one-room schoolhouse here and then man it with my teacher daughter-in-law and let her teach a bunch of kids there. I think she could do well. I think it'd bring an educational component to the farm, and it's just the whole settlement idea. We're not just a farm, we're a settlement. We start producing food. We're also, doing education. We might have an infirmary someday, possibly a barber shop and a bowling alley. Why not? Why not? Why not a restaurant? Why not? Why not? If you have a family member that says, hey, I wouldn't mind running a little cafe, say I will be open on Friday and Saturday nights, invitation only. And I serve two things, that's it. There's not a menu. We have this or this. And, it's a nice little cafe atmosphere on the farm, looking out over the farm possibly. And, the cows are in the foreground and stuff, very quiet. What kind of music do you like? Okay, put that on if you like that. Just very small, low key, but a person could make a good profit doing that. So anyway, Joe says that he would like to make that a priority, and I said, okay. I mean, that quick. Okay, I would too. Now, as far as what it's going to take to do that, I just said, well, I can hire contractors to come and do it. I said, but I just really don't want to. I want to use our people to do it and keep it here. And when you hire contractors, they're not going to do the work that you want in the amount of time that you have it. They always kind of stretch it out. And I don't know. I just don't want to do that. Every time I've hired contractors, almost every time, it's taken way longer than I thought it should. And I always feel like I could have done that myself. And I can. I just don't have 6 of me. But Joe said, hey, I'll throw down. I'll work 3 days a week. And I was like, I'll pay you. I will pay you to do that. So now he will be the crew leader. He'll have 3 of the other boys working with him. And then me in and out, I would be sort of like the project manager, like I know how I want it set up. And he says, hey, what do we got to do? And I said, well, I just got to get estimates for the concrete, the steel, the lumber, everything else I have, or mostly have. No, I don't have the insulation. I don't have the appliances. I got to have a dishwasher. I got to have a 6-burner stove. I got to have an oven. So if I get a 6-burner, commercial grade deal, it'll probably have a big oven. Need that. And then, I gotta have a shower stall. I gotta have a toilet. I gotta have a furnace. I gotta have a high efficiency furnace up. So, I'm putting together the estimate now and drawing it up so I can have an estimate of how much lumber I need, the windows that I need, tables and chairs, plates, dinnerware, tablecloths, all that stuff. But I think that it would be well used. I think it would be well used. And the idea here is it's a venue. So let's say somebody like a Lorna wants to come. Lorna's a real person, by the way. If she wanted to come here and do an embroidery weekend with all of her embroidery friends to come, and they could all bring their embroidery machines and just have a nice place, and then a lunch, and then more embroidery and all that. It's there. It's there. And, it would bring a little income into the farm. Why not? Why not? Or somebody else wants to do a class on soap making. Beautiful. That's in line with anyone can farm. Or somebody wants to do candles. Or somebody wants to do home tattoos, let's say. Or ear piercing, or whatever, eyebrow piercing, whatever. They could do that, and they'd have a place to do it that'd be, well equipped for the job. So that's what we're doing. And Joe's going to be thrown down with us this summer he says 3 days a week he can do it. And so my job is to start collecting the materials and get this puppy going. That's really exciting, really exciting. And I'm going to work that in concert with the work camping program. So people are able to come here and camp on the farm, be immersed in the homestead, Baker's Green Acres homestead, and for their compensation to the farm for using one of our campsites, they agree to throw down on whatever we're doing. And let's say a guy has no construction experience, but he wants to work with somebody and learn, immerse in it. Then, okay, we got another body to help you. We got Mike Barker coming in. He's going to help you. So I just think the whole thing, and this is in line with everything that's happening. It feels like everything is just coming together. No more conflict, just moving ahead. It's just everybody moving ahead in a positive direction. Am I delusional? Am I delusional? Is Putin around the corner? Oh, that Putin. Got to get that Putin. That son of a gun. Him and Trump, they're friends. They're friends. They're trying to destroy this world. I know it. Well, so anyway, that's why my level of excitement is really high, and I'm really excited about this weekend, some old friends and all that stuff. And I've gone 43 minutes just shacking about that. We do have one seat open as far as I know. It's still open. All right. One seat for this weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday. Charcuterie. And I am going to open up a block on this class and just sit down and talk to people. Let's talk numbers. Throw a prosciutto out on the table. Let everybody sample it and say, okay, get your phones out and tell me what this thing is worth. Just so people can actually see it. And people can actually, oh, well, here's an ounce of it for $240. How, or whatever. So people can see the range, because it's quite exciting when you see that. Even if you made a prosciutto or copas and pancettas and stuff, and you never sold one, just to know that you've made something that is of value to others. And let's say that you make them. Nancy's got some pigs now. And let's say that you make some of these products, and then you have friends over and you say, try this out. Don't have any Muslim friends over, though. Don't have them over. They won't like it. All right. So what I wanted to talk about tonight, and I guess it won't take that long, but it's been one of those things that I've struggled with for years, and it is compromise. Compromise. And let me tell you what my struggle with compromise has been. For a while, when I first came out of the military, I believe, I was seen in certain circles as very rigid, or the way it was explained to me is you're just black and white. You're black or white. And apparently the reason why that was said to me is because I wasn't exactly invited over to everybody's house, and people would kind of run from me, honestly, that's how it was. You people are all selective. You can turn it off anytime you want, but evidently there's something here that you say, no, I like that. I like that idea. And compromise being, well, I never drink and drive, except if it's a really good party and it's close to home, Well, that's a compromise to your I never drink and drive. And I've never made that statement, and I probably never would make that statement. But that's just an example of compromising, Let's see, what is another good example of a compromise? Let's see. What's a good compromise that we've heard lately? We hear it from our politicians constantly. Constantly. They're all about compromise because they'll call it compromise, but really it's like they don't really stand on a solid foundation. So they say, well, we have compromise because we are the representatives, all the people is what they say. You don't vote for somebody because you know that they're going to go the other way just to appease the people that didn't vote for them. But that's what they do. That's what politicians are all about. A lot of times I've found that if you have a lawyer working for you and they are actually working behind the scenes with your opponent's lawyer, and what they're really trying to do is work a compromise, so neither of you takes everything, neither of you run the table, but both the lawyers are getting paid the whole time and they want to kind of stretch it out a lot. I've seen that. That's a compromise. When we talk about like a news channel and we say, well, they're compromised, it means they say, we bring you the news, but then they have sort of a way around that where it's not really news. They make something up, call it news, and they bring you that. They're more like propagandists, right? All kinds of places we see compromise. And then what we need to do is we need to look right here, buddy. What do you compromise on? And when I really start to get into that, oh, I'm a compromiser from the word go. And now many of you might say, well, no, you aren't. You kind of stick to your guns. You are black and white. You say this is right and this is wrong, and you stay with it. That's true. That is what you see. But you don't see what goes on right here. We're not going to do this, except for right now, I'm going to do it because I want to, and you're not around to see those decisions, whatever it is. And it is a bad thing to compromise your integrity, your goals, your modus operandi. It's a bad thing to do that. And I believe that it haunts us all. But the reason I bring this up is because I've realized that The homesteading lifestyle can actually be a lifestyle of no compromise, right? No compromise. Um, when you have animals that you need to take care of, you can't just take care of them halfway. You have to either do it or not do it. So as you go in, as you wade into this and you say, well, I've got all these animals and I've got those balls in the air and that's running pretty good. I think I'm going to add something to this. I think I'm going to start making prosciuttos, right? Which is something that we said how many years ago? We didn't always do that. We didn't always do butchering. We were struggling hard enough to keep our pigs in, never mind, making nifty things out of them. But as we've taken on more things, I realize that compromise is not part of the equation here. And I got to be really careful with this. I got to really be careful with this because I've said to you guys, oh, well, it's good enough. Is that a compromise? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I think that if we say that, well, perfection is what I strive for, I would say that's pretty, in the homesteading world, I don't think that's a smart place to be. Unless you have been doing it enough years where, wow, you are just getting to the point where you have put out all the spot fires and you're at a place where you say, well, I got this down pat. I might as well go for perfection. So in my life, perfection is going to be it. The reason I do not like that perfection thing in the homesteading world is because it limits you, right? If I start off as a homesteader and my thing is I'm going to start with a garden, right? That's where I'm going to start. And I say, as soon as I've perfected this, then I'll go on to my next thing. Or I'm not going to do anything else until I've got this perfected. What is going to slide down around you while you're trying to perfect, the straightness of your rows of peas? What is going to fall down around you? Lots of things are. So most people that I know that are homesteading, they're kind of like, they throw this one up, and then while it's up, they, put a stitch or two on this one, then throw this one up, and then put a stitch or two on this one, get this up, and then this one's coming down, and they grab that. They've got balls in the air all the time, and they are repairing and fortifying their position and all of those things that we talk about. And then at some point, well, this one's complete, so I can just not throw this one up again. I can put it on the shelf. It's done. This one is done. Flies. That's how we can tell spring is coming. I just killed a fly. All right. So that's why I am not really into the whole perfection thing. And I steer people away from it. Like when we do our classes, one of the things I'll say, well, it's not a perfect chop, but it will make a turd. You can consume it. It's fine. It's fine. After it's consumed, you won't be worried about the, slightly misshapen that it is. It's done. And then the next time you make a chop, you'll probably do better. I'm not saying that 2 years down the road, you'd be like, whoa, who made that? You may. I've been there. But when we think about all the processes that are out there that we could be doing, and we kind of steer away from it because I don't think I know enough about that. Let me tell you something. I've painted cars before, honestly, cars with spray bombs, with just a rattle can. And it didn't look too bad for a while. It was a junky car, but it looked pretty good, actually. And then, eventually that paint doesn't hold up too well. I have painted vehicles with a roller, and actually, they look quite good. If it's a utility, I'm not saying like a 1972 Chevelle. I wouldn't paint that with a roller probably because it's just you expect a shinier paint and a more finely done thing. But I had a Scout one time that I painted. Well, I painted that with a gun too. But first, I painted it with a roller, and I used automotive paint. It actually looked pretty good. It was sort of an orange peel um, texture, so slightly uniformly bumpy, and it actually looked pretty good. All right, so we are not building a piano, right? Right. So we steer away from processes when we say, "Gee, I don't know if I can do it good enough." Just do it, see what it looks like, and um, I've got to say I don't believe that is a compromise. I really don't. I think a compromise would be something like, well, I graze my cattle all summer long until halfway through the summer because I don't feel like doing it anymore. I just throw them in the feedlot and start throwing bales to them. I've actually done that. I've done that. It was like 10 years ago, and I was to a point where I said, I don't think I need to do this anymore. And I did, but I didn't realize the wealth that I was passing up by not grazing my fields. I wasn't going to cut them again, and I just didn't feel like grazing them anymore. And I knew I had enough hay. So let's just eat it. It was really wasteful, and um, it was a compromise in what I said I do. And yeah, I don't want to compromise like that anymore. I mean, and I think there's an aspect to this too. Like sometimes you make a compromise to spare somebody else's pain. I've done that, right? And then in that case, it's like between me and me that I've said, well, I'm gonna let that go, just because, you know, I'm I'm just gonna let that go, and I make that decision, and that's something. Okay, I've made that decision. I guess the point I'm trying to make is the homestead has trained me to not have to be so easily succumbing to compromise. It's actually trained me to be able to hang in there much longer than I used to, and not compromise. My integrity, my values, um, my resources. Right? I mean, your time is a resource, and I know that there's been a lot of times when I could be jobbing it, and I'm thinking, I think I'll watch Oprah, and I'll justify in my mind that, well, this is good educational material, stuff like that. I know that I'm lying to myself, but there you go. That was my feeling for today, and I don't think compromise is necessarily uh, bad in itself. It's just the reasons that we do compromise a lot of times. So I don't know. These things are starting to line up in my mind. Sometimes I will beat myself up because I am not putting out maximum effort, and I am compromising. Sometimes I have to cut myself some slack too, because if I'm tired and I do stuff, it doesn't come out that good. But anyway, that's my message for tonight. I wonder if anybody's got any input on that. We are rolling into, oh wow. We're rolling into Wednesday. Oh, I don't have a mouse here, so I can't move this. Nancy's saying my favorite saying when we were building something is we are not building a piano. Was he a piano player? Look at that. Is that awesome? That's our new logo. Bryce, what do you think of that? I got that on a trade. Yep. Really nice. I really like it. I'm thinking about getting a tattoo. Yep. All right. Well, that's about it for me. I think I've spouted enough. Is there anything you guys want to chat about a little bit? I know I went real long last night. When you're farming, you're on site 24/7. You need some downtime. True. True. I will tell you this though. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. I don't have a mouse. Okay. I used to hear about guys in this community, especially Bryce probably knows some of them, that never left the farm. You know, it had been like 1967 the last time they had actually left the farm. They just never left, and they never wanted to leave. And I used to kind of have a problem with that. Like, how can you do that? But the more here working here and getting into what I'm doing and building out the things that, you know, become sort of a dream. You have this vision of what it could be, and then you start building it out and starts taking shape. Wow. You really don't. I don't get a buzz much anyplace else. You know, it's not like I'm going to go to a theater and watch a movie or something like that. I really don't get off on that. I'll tell you what I do like. I like going to other people's farms and seeing what they're doing. That's always fun for me. It really is. And just hear what they are saying that they're doing. You know, I think that's really fun. So I kind of brought it up a little bit. Justin's here, so I might as well. Jack, you leaving us already? Boy, you go to bed early. You're out in Texas. They must go to bed early out there. Jack put up a post, and it says, I no longer support Baker Creek Farms. And when I saw it, I thought, I no longer support Baker. Whoa, Jack, what are you doing? Gave me a little start there. Talking about, I brought it up last night, talking about buses. Like, I have been the entire gambit. I really have. At first, I thought, no, I would never want to do a bus. And then I started thinking about it. And I said, yeah, I think I would for the durability, but I would not want to build it. And then I said, yeah, but I would want to build it. I really like the idea of doing it. And then I thought, no. If I bring a bus home here, somebody's going to be really upset with me because I got enough unfinished projects as it is. So no, I don't want to build a bus. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. And then when I made the decision to wait, then I started seeing these really nice motorhomes coming through for like pretty cheap with 60, 70,000 miles on them. And that would suffice for what we're doing. And I thought that maybe that's the way to go. And then I thought, no, I really don't like the lack of durability-ness of motorhomes. And then I started thinking, how about a small bus just for like an overnighter? You know, with a school bus, full-size school bus, that's for living in. The problem with it is fuel economy. If I was to shoot out to Texas to do a hog harvest and back, that's a ton of money in diesel fuel. They get 10 miles to the gallon, right? So then I start thinking, well, what about these small buses? Some of these things are getting 16 miles to the gallon. And hey, they got enough room in it for a bed and a toilet. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm looking at small buses because I could get one. I could do a pretty quick retrofit on it because they're small. And then down the road, I can buy a big bus, and when I have the time, I can fix it up. And that time is coming because I'm quickly running out of things to do around here. So that's where I'm at right now. Who knows if that's where I'll be tomorrow night, but it's kind of like that. All right, you guys. Nice. I can wrap this up and put a bow on it. It was a good, successful show. I hope people are staying motivated and inspired. If you could help me out and go to Joe's videos on the Anyone Can Farm experience and share them like with your friends, I would really appreciate that, because Joe's doing some dynamite work and we'd like to get it out there so people can see it. Okay, I'm going to sign off from now. This Mark signing off from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone